Welcome to part 2B of my Emperor Palpatine Character Analysis. If you haven't seen part 1 or part 2A yet, then I highly encourage you to do so. I'll throw up the title card and place a link in the description to it. In today's video, I'll continue my case for Palpatine as the greatest Star Wars character, looking at his role in Episode 3. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I was right. The Jedi are taking over!
Taking full advantage of his vulnerable position, Palpatine plays the victim, painting the Jedi as the evil and manipulative faction that chose to revolt against the established government. And to help further his case, he chooses to portray himself as helpless, disfiguring himself with his own lightning, all in the hopes of gaining Anakin's sympathy.
Oh, let him kill me! I can't hold it any longer. I can't. I'm too weak.
During this chaos, Palpatine succeeds at giving Anakin a convincing reason to save him, whereas Mace fails at doing the same.
I have the power to save the one you love. You must choose. Don't listen to him, Anakin.
The importance here is Palpatine's ability to connect with Anakin on a personal level. This is why he can persuade Anakin to take his side, because he understands what Anakin's desires are, unlike the Council. It's through this connection that trust is built, almost to a fault, which is why when Anakin is presented with the same scenario again, Anakin chooses to trust Palpatine, even if Mace provides him with the same rationale.
He was too dangerous to be kept alive.
Yes, but he was an unarmed prisoner. I shouldn't have done that. It's not the Jedi way.
He has control of the Senate and the courts. He's too dangerous to be left alive.
It's not the Jedi way. He must live.
This is also where Palpatine, the unstoppable force, causes Mace, the immovable object, to budge, as Mace, the most avid follower of the Jedi Code, chooses to break it. And although for the greater good, it becomes his undoing. As Anakin sees the man that represents the Jedi Council falter in adhering to the Code, he chooses to save the man that he trusts and that he needs. And for Palpatine, he's overjoyed with Anakin's choice, as he can now drop the facade of weakness and remind everyone that not only is he the strongest being in the room, but the entire galaxy. And as Mace falls, so does the Jedi Order, and now Palpatine can reap the rewards and crown his new apprentice.
What have I done?
You're fulfilling your destiny, Anakin.
With Anakin still feeling a pull to the light, Palpatine ensures that his dark actions are given positive reinforcement, almost suggesting it was the will of the Force. And off the momentum of Anakin traveling down the dark path, Palpatine takes the opportunity to make him a deal he can't refuse.
Become my apprentice. Learn to use the dark side of the Force.
I will do whatever you ask. Just help me save Padme's life. I can't live without her.
It's clear now that Palpatine is in full control of his puppet in Anakin, as Anakin is willing to throw away the life he once led in hopes of saving his wife.
To cheat death is a power only one has achieved.
And to make certain that Anakin will always blindly follow his words, he secures strings to his apprentice, in the form of an empty promise.
But if we work together, I know we can discover the secret.
And just like that, Palpatine has chained Anakin, similar to when he was a slave in his youth, only this time he would be enslaved by his emotions, the dark side, and the Dark Lord himself.
Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Vader.
Officially, Palpatine has corrupted the man that was once Anakin Skywalker, and transformed him into Darth Vader.
Rise.
With Anakin now dead in Palpatine's eyes, it's fitting that he requests the new evil creation to rise from the ashes and to be born anew. And as Vader takes his first steps, Palpatine fully embraces the dark side as well. It's in this moment that Palpatine is his true self, enveloped in darkness, represented by his signature Sith yellow eyes, and his scarred face a reminder that the evil in all of us can make us twisted and unnatural.
When the Jedi learn what has transpired here, they will kill us, along with all the senators.
And so, Palpatine continues to play the game, feeding into Anakin's paranoia and further strengthening Anakin's loyalty to him by making the Jedi the villains of his story.
Every single Jedi, including your friend Obi-Wan Kenobi, is now an enemy of the Republic.
Palpatine demonizes the Jedi as a whole and singles out Obi-Wan, understanding the brotherly bond he shares with Anakin and trying to break it as soon as possible, as Obi-Wan reaching out to his apprentice could be the X factor to whether Anakin stays on the dark path or not.
We must move quickly. The Jedi are relentless. If they are not all destroyed, it will be civil war without end.
So without giving Anakin any chance to second guess his choices, he proceeds to paint a worst case scenario of their situation and gives his apprentice his first mission.
First, I want you to go to the Jedi Temple. We will catch them off balance.
Do what must be done, Lord Vader. Do not hesitate, show no mercy.
Unlike the Jedi, the Sith play by their own rules, and they live and die by them, as their strength gives them purpose.
Only then will you be strong enough with the dark side to save Padme.
Palpatine never forgets to bring things full circle, reminding Anakin of his personal investment in this situation, truly manipulating him to do his bidding, as Palpatine makes Anakin believe that his actions are for his own benefit, furthering the illusion of having his best interest at heart, when in reality, Palpatine is just giving Anakin a nudge, where he will then plunge into the dark side and become consumed by it, to the point that he will forget that he did those terrible things in the first place, and simply become an agent of chaos. As another great villain once said,
See, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
And in the madness, Palpatine is joyful, as he's in the final steps of his plan of eliminating the nuisance that is the Jedi, along with his ever-growing control over others. And while this may come at the price of corruption, genocide, and destruction, he maintains his Machiavellian mindset, as the ends justify the means.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy.
And we shall have peace.
And so begins the Great Jedi Purge, with Vader leading the siege of the Jedi Temple, and Palpatine taking care of the Jedi spread across the galaxy.
Commander Kelly,
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
With one swift stroke, Palpatine almost entirely wipes out his natural enemy in the Jedi with Order 66, having them suffer the ultimate consequence, exposing them for their arrogance and naivety. And as this occurs, their death is like music to his ears, like a symphony he's constructed for decades finally coming together. And just like the clones, mindlessly following orders due to their programming, we see how Palpatine has brainwashed Anakin, as he betrays and murders the Jedi that once took him in as family. Even the order he lists his allegiances show how misguided his priorities have become.
I will not betray the Republic. My loyalties lie with the Chancellor, and with the Senate, and with you.
Not only does Palpatine successfully manipulate Anakin, but he does so as well with the Senate and the people of the Republic in order to kickstart his reign and claim his throne.
The Chancellor's been elaborating on a plot by the Jedi to overthrow the Senate.
And the remaining Jedi will be hunted down and defeated.
Palpatine reminds us that history is written by the victors, as he has full control over his narrative, free to slander the Jedi's reputation and label them as villains. And if that's not enough, he knows that a little bit of sympathy never hurt anybody.
The attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed.
my resolve has never been stronger.
Of course, he portrays himself as the hero of the people, one who's willing to be the strong leader that the galaxy needs in this desperate hour, one that will grant them the security that they desire.
The Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire.
As Palpatine makes this claim, it's fitting that we see the result of what happens to those that were given a similar promise.
The war is over. Lord Sidious promised us peace. We only want...
A reminder of what can happen when you sacrifice freedom for peace, as you no longer have control over your destiny, something Gunray and the Separatists learned far too late. Also, seeing Vader eliminate the Separatists in parallel with Palpatine's promotion to Emperor is symbolic of how the duo complements each other, with one being the brain, the other the brawn, as the two attributes are utilized to assert control over the galaxy, and as the brain, the genius behind Palpatine's plan, is captured well by Padme.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
The irony in his claim to the throne is not that Palpatine simply took it, but he was given it by the people, as power resides where men believe it resides. So it didn't matter that he was stronger than everyone in that room combined. It mattered that they believed in him and gave him a power that can't be learned or bought, only earned through trust, representative of how democracy can only die if we let it.
The Separatists have been taking care of my master.
It is finished, then. You have restored peace and justice to the galaxy.
Palpatine can finally begin to claim victory as the remnants of the Clone Wars have been disposed of. Everything is going as he's foreseen, all with the help of Vader. He again assures Vader that his actions are virtuous and for the benefit of the galaxy, making him believe that they're fighting for the greater good and establishing peace, when in reality, they're establishing a tyranny to reign over the oppressed and control them.
I have brought peace, freedom, justice, and security to my new empire.
As well, we see in Anakin his warped perception, as Palpatine has convinced him that it's more important to save Padme than to be with her, destroying the concept he once believed in, the importance of compassion. Now, he believes,
Love won't save you, Padme. Only my new powers can do that.
So ultimately, Palpatine has managed to make Anakin fulfill his own prophecy, by having him turn against the person that means the most to him. The irony being that in his quest to obtain the power to save the one he loved, it came at the price of him harming them due to his fear and paranoia.
Liar!
No!
You're with him! You brought him here to kill me!
With Anakin turning against Padme, Palpatine has fully corrupted the good man that was once Anakin, and has rid himself of his biggest threat in Padme, both politically and to the Chosen One. He used Anakin's compassion and turned it into obsession, to the point that it had him turn his back on everything he ever cared about, from his family in the Jedi Order, to his brother in Obi-Wan, and most importantly, to a star-crossed lover in Padme. But before Palpatine can relish in his victory, one final obstacle stands in his way in Yoda.
Master Yoda, you survived.
The disdain in his voice can be felt from a mile away, as he now must finish the job the clones could not.
Your arrogance blinds you, Master Yoda. Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
Palpatine here points out the Achilles heel of the Jedi, as their arrogance caused them to be unable to detect Sidious or his plan, so they went so long without a challenge or threat that they let their guard down, believing that they could overcome any obstacle that came their way when they should have been more vigilant, as Palpatine was. They became predictable as they followed a code rather than the will of the Force, making it easy for Palpatine to foresee their every move.
I have waited a long time for this moment.
After years of hiding in the shadows, there's a part of Palpatine that's elated to show Yoda just how powerful he is.
At last, the Jedi are no more.
And it wouldn't be Palpatine if he didn't at least get a little cocky. Not only that, but as an instigator, Palpatine loves to get under people's skin, feeding into their fears and insecurities, pointing out Yoda's failure not only as a teacher, but a leader of the Jedi Order. But with no intention of backing down, it's Yoda who plays the fearless one.
If so powerful you are, why leave?
While it's clear that Palpatine understands the threat that Yoda poses as a worthy adversary, as he's more hesitant to face him than the 4 Jedi Masters he dueled earlier in the film, his pride won't let him say no to a direct challenge.
You will not stop me. Darth Vader will become more powerful than either of us.
So with Palpatine's confidence in himself and his apprentice through the roof, the two begin to duel for the fate of the galaxy, with the Masters of Good and Evil facing off in the Senate Auditorium, the very place that Palpatine amassed all his power, and this rise in power symbolized through the ascending central pod that they begin their duel on. And to showcase his sheer power, Palpatine begins to throw Senate pods at Yoda, representative of his undying control over the Senate itself. As the fight progresses, Palpatine shows why he's the very essence of the dark side as he uses the Force aggressively, always for attack. This concept being visually expressed through his Force lightning, an ability that shows mastery of the dark side as it can virtually only be used to harm others. But most notably, Palpatine has a face of pure glee throughout the fight, as he enjoys every second of the violence, juxtaposed by Yoda's more serious and focused demeanor. And as the duel comes to a close, the two combatants prove to be near equals in the Force as they reach a stalemate. And for Palpatine, this proves to be enough to achieve victory as Yoda must retreat, for the Jedi have fallen from grace, and the Sith achieve superiority over them. But even with this victory for Palpatine, the same could not be said for his apprentice.
I sense Lord Vader is in danger.
As history repeats itself, where once again, Palpatine's apprentice fails to defeat Obi-Wan due to their hubris, and now, Vader must live the rest of his life suffering the consequences of this flaw. When Palpatine arrives, Vader is still alive, holding on to life through his never-ending rage. Palpatine then looks upon his apprentice, seeing what has become of him, and it can almost be mistaken for a loving fatherly moment as he places his hand on his forehead. But in reality, he's more disappointed in him than anything, worried about how this affects him, as this greatly hinders the potential that Vader had to surpassing his master in terms of sheer power. So Palpatine looks to give his apprentice a second chance at life by any means, taking him to Coruscant, arriving in a thunderstorm, with the rain representing the last bit of Anakin and the Republic being washed away, and being reborn as Vader and the Empire. Reminiscent to the creation of Frankenstein's monster, Palpatine has a shell of a man built in the form of Vader's iconic suit, stripping away the last pieces of humanity that were left of him. As Obi-Wan would say,
He's more machine now than man, twisted and evil.
While Palpatine's magnum opus in Vader is being created, the Skywalker twins are born as well. As the offspring of Anakin, they represent the one thing Palpatine could never do: to love. So it's fitting that the symbol of the Empire in Vader is born out of Palpatine's greed and Vader's hatred. And at the same time, Luke and Leia are born out of Anakin and Padme's love and compassion. And if there was any semblance of Anakin left in the suit, it would be extinguished in one swift moment by Palpatine's words.
Where is Padme? Is she safe? Is she all right?
It seems in your anger, you killed her.
And as Vader's wrath fills the room from hearing this unfortunate news, Palpatine is thrilled, as his greatest weapon in Vader will be subservient to him alone. And so, Revenge of the Sith ends on a high note for Palpatine, as the years of planning, scheming, and execution all paid off. For Palpatine, the galaxy is now his to control, symbolized with the creation of the Death Star, the ultimate technological construct that could be used to implement his philosophy of ruling by fear. But his real trophy is seen in the man standing next to him, as he transformed the hero of the Republic into something almost unrecognizable, into a tyrant of the Empire. It reminds us that one of Palpatine's greatest powers is his ability to seduce and corrupt others, bringing out the evil in the best of us. Palpatine managed to nearly wipe out the Jedi, claim their chosen one, and establish a dictatorship to control the galaxy, all the while appearing innocent to the people, emphasizing the idea that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist. And this devil can now rest easy, as he can shape the world in his own image, as he takes his throne as the king of manipulation. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I had a ton of fun making this video, so if you enjoyed it too, then I highly suggest liking the video. And if you want to see more like it, then definitely hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified when part 3 comes out, then hit the bell for notifications. Also, I want to give a shout out to my patrons. Your support means everything to me. If you enjoy the content and want to help support the channel, then check out the Patreon link in the description. Any contribution would help out immensely. Also, let me know in the comments which Star Wars character is the smartest and why. And who knows, they might be in the next one. Until next time, when in doubt, do it.